So cheating at Wordle. My daughter Mia sent me a text last week saying, "Have you been playing Wordle? You should be." And she sent me a screenshot. And I'd seen these pictures, but I didn't quite understand what they meant. But she sent me a link to the game, and she said play, and we decided we'd play every day. And so, um, she explained to me that it was a 5-letter word game and it was new, but we're up to word 225, so it's been going on for almost a year already. But she explained the rules and all that, and she said you have up to 6 guesses. Well, I decided that I was going to play, but I'm not very good with vocabulary, and so I have some other skills, and so after a couple of days, I sent her this screenshot, and I said I didn't even cheat today. And she says, "You usually cheat?" And I said, "Well, it depends how you cheat, how you define cheat." But this isn't a foolproof way, of course, because there are a lot of 5-letter words in the English language. And so even though, quote unquote, I'm cheating, one time a couple of days ago, took me 6 guesses where it only took her 3, and I'm sure she's not cheating. I had a couple bad guesses, but okay, so how do I do this? I'm a bit of an Excel freak, and so I see everything as a problem to be solved. And so I went out on the web and found 8,958 words. So that's the number up here, 8,958 words in the English language with 5 letters. And I'm doing this in lowercase, and everything is in lowercase, so that's the way it needs to work. But I also found on the web, 9 kind of starter words. So usually what you want to do is you're assuming that every word is going to have at least 1 vowel and perhaps 2 and maybe 3. And so a good starting word would be a word of letters that are common in the English language and some vowels. And so these are some starting words that they would suggest. And so the way you would play this game is, the first word I'm going to use stain. And so I'm trying out stain. And so it tells me that I'm wrong on S. So this is does not exist. And so I would just come down here to the S and put an X in there. The I does not exist, and the N does not exist. But the T in the second position does exist. It's just in the wrong spot. So in here in the T in the second spot, I'm going to put an X. So that highlights the exists column here. And the A exists in the third spot. So I'm going to put an X there. And so basically then you run this macro here, Wordle, and what it does is it goes through and finds all the words that match that criteria and puts a yes by it. And then it filters on that. So we're down now from 8,900. We're down to 235. So from this list, you can choose one, and what I ended up choosing here was chart. So I'll unfilter to go back there. And to restart, you just hit this clean macro, and then clear out all these things. So it gave me chart and said that C does not exist, and H does not exist, and R does not exist, and A, so I guessed the word here in the same position. This is a bad choice for chart. I probably should have chosen a word that had A in another position. But it said that T does exist, and so you put the T up here of the actual. And then you choose again. And that brings up, methodology of how best to solve Wordle, because it might be that you shouldn't include an A and a T in the second time around, and that might help you further along. So there's some game theory there of what's the best way to solve. In this solution, I'm usually, my method would be to always include the words, and so the words that the macro comes up with are they could be guesses, right? You're not sacrificing one guess to get it quicker. You're always only choosing words. So now we're down to 28, and I ended up choosing the word adopt. Now, why did I choose adopt? About, I don't know, a thing versus, I don't know. It just, my choice of words here could have been a lot of them, but all these could be proper choices. But I chose adopt. And so if I hit unfilter here, now I can say that A exists and O exists in that position exactly, and D does not exist. Oops, D does not exist and P does not exist. Okay, and that's wrong right there. And maybe I should show you what happens if you do that. It gives you an error and says that in row 5, D doesn't exist. So D does not exist. And then I hit the Wordle, and now I'm down to 3. So it's one of these 3 words, if indeed I have all the words in the English language. I don't know if I do. You could just add English words. If there are additional words, you could add them to the bottom of a list at 8960. But in this case, I'm hoping I have all of them. And so it's either about, a foot, or a loft. And, I didn't choose about because, I don't know, about just doesn't seem like a word that Wordle would use. And so I used a loft. And indeed, a loft was the problem. And so, okay, is this cheating? Yeah, it probably is cheating. There are a lot of gifted people that do this without this help. If you don't want to cheat, but you could still perhaps use this tool as a means to figure out what were all the possible words and, help you fine tune your guessing ability. And so that is, if you want this tool, you can send $5 to my PayPal account or my Venmo account and put your email in the memo line, and I'll send you the spreadsheet, and I'll be glad to dialogue. This is my first venture along these lines, and I'll be glad to dialogue with you. And if you have any suggestions for something better, that'd be awesome. I kind of have a consulting business on the side, Blackstream it's called, and helping people with Excel questions, technical questions. I'd be glad to dialogue with you if you have any suggestions. Take care. Hope you have a great day.